And now, to get you all up to speed, Radio Flange Goblet presents An Idiot's Guide to Football. Right, so, football. Well, you get some guys, and they're on, what's that green stuff called? Broccoli, no, it's not it, grass, that's it, and there's these guys, and they're on the grass, and they've got a round thing made out of I don't know, sponge probably. What's it called? Ball. That's it. Ball. And these guys and the other guys, they run about. They fall over a lot and twist their ankles. And some of them have incredible hair. It's all about the hair, I think. Maybe that's part of the point system. I don't know. Is it how many injuries you get, or is it how ridiculously stupid your hair is for a man? Anyway, there's balls and feet, and you got to get the ball away from the foot quite fast, and you score points, and those with the most points wins. Those with the most points loses. Less points loses, and it's played the World Cup, which is what's going on right now. I've been told. Is it the World Cup? Doesn't sound right. What is it? The World Bowl? Maybe it's the World Bowl, or is it a plate? I don't know. Anyway, whatever's going on right now, it's lots of people wear flags. There's a lot of flag wearing and a lot of flag waving. And I think it's all about not liking the Germans. Anyway, I think that's football. Can I go have a lie down now, please? That was Radio Flange Goblet, An Idiot's Guide to Football. Your idiot this week was Marcus Tremlute. The music is by Pentingle, and his suit was by Carlos the Jackal. And now on Radio Flange Goblet, it's the after movie diner, innit?
No one's done an intro in 126 episodes
except you.
Of the diner, except me.
Good evening and welcome to the After Movie Diner. This evening, it's coming to you from the City Diner on, where are we? Broadway?
On Broadway and 80-something.
Broadway and 80-something. And we've just been to see Edge of Tomorrow. But we went and saw Edge of Tomorrow, not just in any old cinema.
No.
We went and saw Edge of Tomorrow in a cinema where we got to sit in red leather recliners.
Reclinable seats.
Where you press a button and
your whole world becomes amazing.
I just thought they were going to be like comfortable armchairs, which would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But they were lazy boys. The thing comes up and lifts your legs up. Why don't we go and see every movie in that cinema?
I do go and see most of my movies.
Right.
In that cinema.
Okay, so I need to go and see every movie in that cinema.
Yeah.
So when
it's really
Guardians
good
of the
for
Galaxy
you
comes out,
because
we'll go and see
of
that.
course. Oh, we have to go there.
Yeah.
Because their 3D projection's really good as well. It's really crisp.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I mean, that was an odd movie to see in 3D.
It wasn't really.
I was expecting more from it, and actually, it would have been better in 2D.
It would have been much better.
But the
in 2D.
annoying thing about it is that they literally had 2 screenings a day in 2D, and one was at like 11 in the morning, and one was at almost midnight. I don't think so yet.
Oh, you're not ready?
No. Another 2 minutes.
Sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I have to say, like the only thing I would say about it is, if anybody's thinking of going to see it out there, I don't think you need to see it in 3D. If anything, it's one of those movies where when things move quickly, you know what I mean? Like the action's very snap, and that doesn't. I don't think that doesn't sit all that well in 3D. It becomes a bit blurry.
Right.
And there were a couple of nice shots that were like, ooh, 3D, but that was it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like. There were bits in the Avengers or whatever where I thought, I'm glad I'm watching this in 3D because this is awesome. But this Honestly, I think I would have enjoyed it more in 2D. In fact, I'm quite looking forward to seeing it, like on a smaller screen.
Right.
But that's
we
not,
didn't have a choice.
No, we didn't have a choice,
Is
and that's
the
not
way...
to take away from the fact that we saw it in really comfortable leather armchairs.
Right.
We did see a trailer before the movie for Guardians of the Galaxy, and it looked really good.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few.
Really good.
trailers.
That was the first proper one I'd seen. I can't wait. That I want to see in 3D because that looks like it's got lots of terrific, beautiful shots. This was more of a war movie than it was a space movie, I would say. I would say Edge of Tomorrow is more of a war movie than a space
totally.
movie. So space movies you want to see in 3D because, things look spectacular.
There was a couple of bits where, like, a spaceship exploded when it crashed into the beach, and something flew at you. That was one of them. And the other one was when she went up to the helicopter. Right. That was a really cool. I haven't seen anything like that before. That genuinely. Every now and then when I see a 3D movie, there's like a shot in there where I'm like, oh wow, I'm looking at a different image. Like that's a different way of seeing things. Like the bit in the Avengers where you look through the cab at the things happening outside. That's like a different view somehow. Anyway, do I have a breakfast or do I have a pasta?
Well, this is, your first diner trip, right? In a while?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a breakfast.
So what have you been looking forward to?
I might have a lumberjack.
There you go.
But I'm going to ask if I can have a lumberjack with French toast rather than...
Pancakes?
Pancakes.
I'm sure they'll oblige. Let's find out.
So yeah, we went to see Edge of Tomorrow. We went to see it on 84th Street and Broadway at the AMC with the red recliners. We saw it in 3D because there wasn't a 2D option.
Actually, I was going to get chicken Caesar salad.
But that cinema is awesome. We've then walked a few blocks up north and crossed the street to come to the City Diner.
The City Diner, which is lovely.
Which I've never been to before.
It's very nice.
There's one up at 96th Street called the Manhattan Diner, which I've been to before, and that's where I thought we were going to go. But then I saw this place, and I thought that this might be more exciting.
No, it's nice. It's nice and
Art
bright.
Deco, isn't it?
It's got an Art Deco.
Black, brown, orange, kind of 20s feel to it.
Thank you. Did I hear lumberjack?
Yes.
Okay, how do you want your eggs done?
Can I get them poached?
How about over easy?
Over easy's fine. And can I get French toast instead of pancakes?
Sure.
And I'll get the City Diner chef salad.
What kind of dressing?
What are my choices?
Balsamic vinaigrette, Russian blue cheese, ranch.
The balsamic vinaigrette.
Sure. Okay.
It's everything.
Thank you very much. But it's very nice. It's nicely lit. It's kind of a woody theme to it. There's nice big fans
Very
on
woody.
the ceiling. It's nice. It's smart, and it's got the 20s, isn't it? That's the thing.
It may be that it's a little bit style over substance.
Well, we're going to find out. Anyway, stay tuned, listeners.
Yes.
Will it be a good diner?
So,
or will it not be a good diner? Because here's the thing.
Yes.
The real question is, is the diner going to be a good diner? Because we can't... I don't know about you, but I don't exactly know what to say about it, except that it was really, really good.
It's awesome. But we'll get into Edge of Tomorrow in a minute. Because there are some things we can say.
Yes, okay.
I know that you and your good lady wife are a little bit of sort of Netflix, Amazon Prime kind of hounds.
Yes.
Yes, we haven't spoken for a while, haven't seen you for a while, for many different reasons, and I just wanted to know if you'd got any good suggestions or anything that you've seen recently, either stuff that you've spoken about before or stuff that you've not spoken about before.
Well, I would say if anybody's does have Amazon Prime up there and they have never got around to watching Veronica Mars, the TV show, I would suggest watch the first series. Absolutely, no question. Great stuff, brilliant, awesome. Stop watching it.
You don't like the second season?
The second series is awful, like really terrible.
Have you watched the third season?
No, because it's supposed to be worse than the second season, so I've got no interest in watching something that was already
Is it
worse.
because it doesn't have the central murder once that's solved?
The problem is once that's solved...
it's like Twin Peaks season 2. It's like at that point.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Even that, I mean, a little bit, but it's more that the whole structure of Veronica Mars, what made it great was that everybody's life was affected by this tragedy, and getting to the bottom of who did it was also everybody also figuring out their problems.
Right.
Whereas season 2 was like, look at the shiny MacGuffin, and it was all bollocks. Anyway, it wasn't very good. So avoid season 2, but don't watch season 1. Hannibal. which was season 1, is on. Sorry, Hannibal. Hannibal, season 1 on Amazon. I highly recommend.
You highly recommend.
Really, me and Teresa loved Hannibal on Amazon.
Right.
It was awesomely good. It takes like a few episodes to warm up.
It's Mads Mikkelsen, isn't it?
It takes a few episodes for him to learn how to speak English properly.
Right.
Well, no, that's not fair. It takes a couple of episodes for the writers to realise what words he can say and how many you should give him in a sentence before it becomes...
Right.
But it's really good. And all I can assume about Hannibal is that the murder scenes are so weird and gruesome and like that disturb you in dark corners of your mind you didn't even know existed. But I can only see that there's
What
a
network
guy.
is it on?
It's on NBC.
Right.
But I can only see there's a small, scary guy, probably like balding with glasses. They keep in a very dark room in
It
NBC
looks like Wallace
somewhere. Who just comes out, a little bit like that, only like even like slightly fatter and less features.
So, like the ugly guy who played the priest in Prince of Thieves.
That's way too specific.
Little pig-faced, but
kind of
fatty guy.
And I think he just comes out every week and goes, "There you go," and he's like drawn a picture of a death scene. They go, "Jesus, Gerald," and they put him back in the closet,
spooky,
and then they write an episode off that.
Because there's what else has NBC got coming up that looks? Oh yes, I think NBC is the one doing Constantine, aren't they?
Maybe,
and that looks really.
Good. Yeah,
well, not only does it look good, although like people are still like, yeah, but he's not a smoker. I'm like, oh, look, you finally got a British person with blonde hair and a brown coat playing Constantine. Can we not worry that he isn't smoking?
Yeah. Also,
cigarettes?
I always liked the Keanu Reeves movie.
Yes, except that it's Keanu Reeves. It's the same thing as Dracula. It's just except that it's Keanu Reeves.
No, but I think he's fine. I never read the comic books beforehand, so I don't know whether it doesn't really matter to me.
It was Shia
really
LaBeouf before Shia LaBeouf was terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyway,
I liked it.
Fine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, what's weird about it is that NBC, along with ABC and CBS, are known for these like family-friendly, and they might have something like Scandal, which gets occasionally risque, but they're not really bad. Whereas with something like Hannibal, and now with Constantine, which just from the trailers, I was like, wait a minute, is this an HBO show? Because it looked really kind of graphic and dark and weird and like, proper.
Well, I think the important thing for the American Family Association is, as far as Hannibal's concerned, that even though it's graphically violent and horrible,
there's no tits,
there's no breasts,
right?
And as long as there's no nudity, even though it's I mean, some of the images, like the last couple of episodes, for the first time in as long as I can remember, me and the wife had genuine trouble sleeping.
Right.
The night after we watched the finale, like the final couple of episodes, because it was so creepy.
Yeah.
We kept, every time we closed our eyes, seeing the really creepy thing coming for us again, and we were like, "Oh Jesus!" And I haven't had that in the longest time, and it was an NBC show.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's really good, and Chip reliably informs me that
I think maybe
season 2
network
is even better.
Do you think network shows are realising that? Because you've got two things happening.
Well, Hannibal gets sorry.
You've got HBO and Showtime kind of hitting them out of the park repeatedly with a bunch of very gory, very high concept,
also breasts,
tit-laden stuff.
Right.
And you've got AMC doing Your Walking Dead, which is high gore, and you've got your FX doing. Well, they did Justify, that was a hit. They've got Louis, that was a hit, and that
the Americans is supposed to be a hit. Although I haven't seen it. Teresa says it's very good.
Louis skirts the line in terms of like language used. And there was another show that FX is doing that's been weirdly popular, but is also fairly adult.
Sons of Anarchy. I've never seen it.
No, that was always popular. It's a new show.
Not the American.
Anyway, all I'm saying is, it looks like
the interesting
networks.
The interesting thing is with Hannibal particularly is that Hannibal doesn't get very good ratings at all, and it obviously costs a lot of money because it's very beautifully shot. You've got some big-ish names in it.
Mads Mikkelsen.
No, but okay. First of all, you can't not like a show that is like a really horrible, disturbing mystery show that casts Eddie Izzard and Scott Thompson out of Kids in the Hall.
Yeah.
You can't not like that. You can't not like the people in charge of that show. Well, Eddie Izzard was like a recurring guest star, but Scott Thompson is a regular. So I think it was a slightly camp, but like sort of comic relief, but more like Everything that's happening is so.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Insane. Yeah, you should definitely watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, stick with it, but it's really. I mean, I think it's great.
I like mystery shows.
Yeah, it's a mystery show. I mean, they begin to drop. It becomes more about.
And I like the character. I mean, well, no, I like the movies that the characters appeared in. I mean, I even dug Red Dragon, and lots of people.
Well, then you'll like. I mean, it's more about he's a very different character.
What I mean is a lot of people complained when like Hannibal was made and when Red Dragon was made that they like Hollywoodized the character, but the books are like like a holiday reading anyway. What it's like the Da Vinci Code. People are like, oh, but they're getting it wrong. It's like, but this is a thing you take on the beach and read. Like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
This is not.
There's not characters.
Right. This is not like deep dark.
Yeah, there's a name on a page, but that's it.
So I never got the big whoops about why the movies that they made out of the books were so. But I thought I didn't think they needed to be higher. Like. It makes me laugh that Silence of the Lambs is considered way above all the others, when Silence of the Lambs is... Look, it's great shot, great acted, it bows along, lots of fun stuff happens or whatever like that. But when you actually analyse the plot, it's horseshit. I mean, it's just cold horseshit.
Yes, it is, but that's not the interesting thing about it. Like, the interesting thing about... And we're obviously getting slightly off topic here, but people that are tuned in for Edge of Tomorrow... Sorry about that.
Nobody cares.
Fair enough. What's interesting about Silence of the Lambs is when I watch it, I enjoy it so much. Is first of all, the interesting thing that's going on with it, as opposed to the other ones, it's very tight and it's very
lovely. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You've got enough salad there.
It's ridiculous.
That is like a whole pig wrapped around some block of cheese.
A salad. It's like rolled meat on it. This is crazy. So I pour the. What am I supposed to do? Anyway, what's interesting about Silence of the Lambs is, first of all, it's very tight, it's very controlled, and everything.
But it's cliched all to hell, is what I'm saying.
I'm not talking about the plot. Is you can still make really good films with really cliche plots. You can have really well plotted films that are still tightly cliche. What I'm saying is, it's very small. Everything happens in a very small space. Like Hannibal, though, it's all like, look at the. They're far too. The other films, other than Silence of the Lambs, are far too enamoured with. Oh, Hannibal, he's so sophisticated.
Gentlemen of everything you need.
So you get lots of opera, squares in Rome, beautiful meals.
But that's in the story. It
doesn't matter about that. I'm not talking about how accurate they are. I'm talking about what's different. In Silence of the Lambs, he's locked in a dungeon. And there's like a few paintings that he's done, but everything is like the things that it's all about.
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs is.
It's a very grubby, grimy, grey, small little movie.
Yeah,
it's very tightly told. And one thing that surprised me when I watched it again is how much of it is close-ups on faces. There's so many conversations that are like those old Alan Bennett plays, TV plays, where the conversation would be real. Stream close up on somebody's face, looking right at the camera, talking, and then cut to. Thank you so much. Close up on somebody's face, and then cut to the other person, stream close on their face, talking right to the camera. It's kind of cool and intimate, while at the same time these horrible things are happening. But it's anyway. The TV series is different in that it's him before anybody knows what he is. So everything's quite secretive, and.
But it's basically more... Dexter, isn't it? It's basically Dexter for NBC in terms of...
No. Because he doesn't help solve any crimes.
Oh, okay.
At all. If anything, he will get in the way. But the whole premise of the show is he uses the fact that he observes the crimes close up and understands the serial killers to perform murders like them to cover up his own murders, which are for organs and what have you.
Right.
But it's really about him destroying the Will Graham character, who I think he recognises as a threat to him, a threat to his continued existence. So becomes a part of his life and proceeds to like mentally destroy him.
Right.
It's much more of a long form thing.
Nice. Glad Scott Thompson's getting work.
No, me too. But it's very good, and I highly recommend it. It's very similar to True Detective in that it's much more about the mood,
right,
and how it makes you feel than the story that it's telling.
Right.
The story it's telling is necessary to make you feel that way.
Sure.
But it's not like, but who hit the bloke on the head with the thing?
Right.
That's not as important as how you're feeling when you're watching it.
So have you watched any movies?
I'm trying to think. What was the last thing we watched? We watched quite a good HBO movie about the late night talk show war. That was quite fun.
Oh.
Letterman against Leno. That was
a documentary or a reenactment?
No, it was like a reenactment thing, like a made-for-TV movie.
Oh, who's in it?
Nobody particularly famous.
But that's on HBO?
Yeah, it's like an old HBO, like mid-90s made for HBO movie, but it's quite fun. We watched Thor: The Dark World, which we both quite enjoyed.
It's really good, right?
Yeah.
I really like it. As a dogfight between like two fighter jets going in between like 4 dimensions.
Oh yeah, that was super cool.
Right.
Yeah.
While 2 gods destroyed Greenwich. The only thing that I have an issue with is that he gets on at Charing Cross.
Yeah.
And says it'll be 2 stops to
Greenwich.
And I'm like, no, try about 10 stops and 1 change.
When I was watching that with Trees, I was like, no, I just had to at the time. The only thing that bothers me about this movie, much better, thank you so much. The only thing that bothers me about this movie is I didn't mind because it was such a good joke.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like, that's fine. But no, that was very good. I enjoyed that. We haven't seen Captain America 2, which I know you didn't like very much, but I'm still looking forward to it
because I preferred the first one.
That's fine. We watched the first one again quite recently as well and enjoyed that. But generally, me and Teresa are on the TV shows. We're working our way through the original Danish Killing at the moment.
Any good?
I don't really get what all the fuss is about.
Okay.
It's quite enjoyable, but I was led to believe more the hype coming because it happened while I was in America. And it was a big hit in England, and everyone was talking about how great it was. And I'm watching it, and I was like, "Oh, the American one, they must have got a." I can see why no one liked the American one because if they just remade the Danish one, it would come across in quite a lot of ways. It's like really quite crass and obvious and full of unbelievable coincidences.
Right.
Because they basically can't afford. It's like 24 episodes long. It's one murder.
Right.
It's not like Twin Peaks. No, it's more like this guy definitely did it because she turned up at his house and then he was seen carrying a body out of his flat and the bloke said it's a girl and now he's going, oh no, she did turn up at the flat but then she left and then another girl came and then she fell over the edge. Go, excuse me, we're on our 5th coincidence now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, Edge of Tomorrow.
But it's quite fun. But yes, we should probably get on to
Edge of Tomorrow.
What I am about to tell you sounds crazy. But you have to listen to me. Your very lives depend on it. This is not the end. You see, this isn't the first time. We've had this conversation. What day is it?
Judgment Day. You just came in with the fresh recruits.
This is not the end. The invasion will fail, along with every soldier you are sending. We lose everything.
Come find me when you wake up. What happened to you happened to me. You hijacked their power. I need your help.
With what exactly?
Winning the war. We can do this. Just come here every day and I'll train you.
No matter what I do, it's as far as you go.
Why does it matter what happens to me?
I'm not a soldier.
Of course you're not. You're a weapon.
Edge of Tomorrow, which stars Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, and the always awesome Brendan Gleeson.
Yes.
Is he ever not amazing? He has like 2 scenes in this movie and steals the film.
He steals the film
In the
one
first
bit,
30 seconds.
with one bit by not speaking or moving his face.
Right.
Can I just say, the one thing that I was not...
When he showed up, I was not expecting him at all. And when he showed up, I was like, that's amazing. The other person who steals the film as well, look, the cast are routinely excellent. Cruise is amazing.
I haven't seen Paxton ever.
But Paxton was amazing in this movie. Paxton was incredible in this movie.
But he was... You know what I didn't understand?
And Cruise was so good in this movie.
I was always... Having seen the trailer, you know, set in London, cruise, science fiction, aliens, sign me up. No,
and he's going to be a super soldier.
Right.
You're like, oh, he's
And then-
going to be all brash and...
Right, and I didn't. And when I saw the second trailer, I saw it was like, oh, it might be a bit dull. It might be he's just a super soldier killing aliens. How's that fun? It's a comedy.
It's hilarious.
It's
the first 40 minutes are. After about that, it gets a bit...
Because it turns out that what's so funny about it, what's so cool about it, is that there's nothing funnier than
he's not.
somebody who knows what's going to happen.
Right.
That is inherently a funny
But
satire.
it's not just that. Before even that's happening, at the very beginning of the movie, he is playing completely against type because he is playing
a coward, a smarmy coward.
Smarmy, wisecracking ad man in a military uniform.
Right.
Who's been helping the war effort by like promoting these super soldiers without actually doing anything himself. And when Gleeson gets one whiff of his smarmy hide, he's like, well, you're going to go to the front lines. And Cruise is like, no, thank you very much, no, I'm not. And it's just really interesting to see Cruise playing a cowardly, weaselly, smarmy
Well, because
character.
actually, one thing he does very well is be afraid. He can make being afraid very funny.
Yeah, really funny.
He's so there's a bit when he's running away, like when Gleeson tells him you're going to the front line, and he just runs for it. You know what I mean? There's no like, oh god, I've told you. He just panics and runs.
Right.
And the look on his face of terror and fear.
But there's even a funnier bit.
Panic.
In fact, Tom Cruise running away is funny. The bit where he is in the suit later on and has no idea how to use the suit, and they're marching towards the ship, and he tries to make a run for it, but he's in this big cumbersome suit, is utterly hilarious. It's the
really
best
funny.
thing. The first... I tell you what it was.
I laughed more in that movie than I've laughed in like comedies that I really genuinely enjoy.
Right.
I was properly having a giggle all the way through that.
Gleeson was hilarious. Paxton plays it so straight, it's hysterical.
But Paxton's shtick becomes
funnier each time.
because he turns from, you know, brash. He turns from the guy that really knows what's going on in the beginning
To a guy who clearly just has a script who just does his thing.
No. I mean, more like the change in his character. He starts off being, in terms of Cruise's character, Paxton's the one that really knows what's going on, and Cruise is trying to kind of shine him. So maybe he can still get out of this. Maybe if I can just get to the phone and talk this guy out, I can still get out of there. And Paxton plays along. But then he's the one that knows what's really happening to him. He's the one that knows the war, takes him through it, introduces him to everybody, lets him know the standard, you know, drills. But then the more the movie goes on, and the more Cruise keeps reliving each day, he starts like his whole like I'm the one that knows what's going on. I'm the one that just gets undermined, and he's like, and his whole like you can see like his understanding of reality is like shifting underneath his feet, and the way that he reacts to that, which is just total denial. I mean that the one they show that I'm not going to ruin it, but there's a shot in the trailer where Cruise goes, "Your very lives made it." Right. Action, really exciting Tom Cruise. But in the movie, what happens after that is fucking brilliant. Anyway,
yes,
it's very funny. The first
40 minutes is really
funny and exciting.
It's the best. Like, I really like Jack Reacher, I really like Mission Impossible, and I'm not going to go all over that again. And I really liked Oblivion, but it's the best Cruise has been. Because it's in fact, I would argue that it's almost the best Cruise has ever been. And I'll tell you why. It's because in the opening thing, he's playing completely against type and being hilarious and playing it really, really well. Then, when he actually becomes the hero, he doesn't become the dun-dun-dun hero. He's still he's still hopeless. Like the bit where they finally get to the farmhouse and the helicopter and that whole scene, which we don't have to go into.
No.
But even he knows that scenario is hopeless. Like, even he doesn't have the next idea. And then when they get to Gleason's office later and he has to get the thing out of the safe, the MacGuffin that's going to, like, spur us onto the third act of the movie, once that finally goes his way, he doesn't know what to do then either. Like, it's this constant... There were parts of the movie with the repetition that got a little like a computer game where you reload the level because now you know what to do up until a certain point and you're going to do that, blah, 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 which is just a function of the story, and it's just unfortunate. And in fact, at one point, they'd done so much repetition that actually there was one regeneration where one of the audience members groaned rather loudly as if to say, "Oh God, not again," you know what I mean? Which, okay, they were actually wrong about, but...
No.
But you see, I think what the trailer did a disservice to is that we were kind of thrown by the humour. And those regenerations, especially like the first handful when it's like boom, 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 and even a bit later when he's training with Emily Blunt, they're meant to be funny.
Yeah.
They're meant to be... And unless you're in that mood, unless you know the whole thing is kind of slapdash and laughable anyway...
Yeah, it's like...
You're kind of thrown a little bit by the humour of it.
And you probably want to just get onto the bit where they start fighting the aliens, but... Actually,
the fighting of the aliens is sort of the least interesting bit of the movie.
Yeah, I agree.
It's done really well, and I love the design of the aliens, really good, but it's the least interesting bit.
What I liked as well, the battle scenes were genuinely... What I liked is they were genuinely chaotic.
Oh, they were really good. I mean, it was like the Normandy landings, but with spaceships.
Right, but what was awesome, even when he like relive the day hundreds of times, and he knew everything was going to happen. There's a bit in the movie, all he has to do is get her from one side of the beach to the other.
Right.
He can't do it because even though he can see everything, and they run through it and they train for it and everything hundreds and hundreds of times, as far as he's concerned, they still can't get it right because the random chaotic nature of it they can't ever tame it.
Right.
And that's what I liked about those things anyway.
The bit where he tries to escape from the push-ups the first time.
Oh yeah.
Bill Paxton's reaction to that is absolutely hilarious.
And then the bit where he goes, when the scientist shows him, first of all, tells him, well, this is what's going on and this is what we know.
And he shows him the hologrammatic thing.
First of all, it's like Cruise's reaction to it, which is, this is not good.
Right.
But he's like, first of all, this is a terrific presentation. Terrific. That was one of the funniest lines, possibly all year.
But do you know...
So far. I'm going to say that.
But do you know why it was so good?
Oh, God.
It's because it harkened back to his ad character. You can imagine him being in a boardroom at that point, and some absolute hopeless ad man has come in and shown him some awful, like, pop-up model, we should do this, or whatever. And him being sarcastic has gone, it's a terrific presentation, but sit the fuck down and let's deal with this, right? So I liked that they never forgot that part of his character. That first and foremost, he is a spin doctor. That's what he is. That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
he's been spinning that these metal super soldier suits of armor are going to like save the war, and the reality of it is they're just not. Like, it's going to take absolutely every last fucking ounce of intelligence they can gather and all the rest of it, and a last ditch mission to even come close to saving the war. All the metal suits do is kind of even the score when it's just one-on-one with a alien versus a guy. They don't like win any wars or beat us, but he's gone round. You see the news montage at the beginning, like spinning the shit out of these things.
Yeah. It was very cool, and there was no doubt there were bits in it where you had to take a leap.
I mean, I'm sure you.
But because I would guess, if I had to guess, I would say there's 3 or 4 bits in the film that's missing, like a minute or a minute and a half, that's required for you to make the leap to the next stage.
Right.
But I think they went through it, and I think they took all the bits out, because I think what's awesome about it is that the pace grows and grows and grows, even when there's, as with the function of the plot, because with the regenerations, as you're saying, it gets repetitive. They have to squeeze that in, so that has to get shorter and shorter and shorter. But somehow the pace, over the course of the whole movie,
also
it just picks up and it keeps going.
Well, they made it
very relentless. There's no. It reminded me a lot of, at least in terms of that, of Blood Diamond. One of the reasons I really loved Blood Diamond was there was no bit of like, or maybe there was like 5 seconds where they were able to have like a pause in it, but up to that point it's been relentless, and it's like that. There's like a relentless.
Well, that's what I liked about the farmhouse scene, is you thought it was going to go one way, and in fact she even says, "Oh, what? We're going to sit by a roaring fire, have wine, and blah blah blah." And you thought that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
And in fact, there was an indication that maybe it's gone that way before, and we just don't see it, because at a certain point during the movie, instead of doing regeneration, you're thrust into a new scenario. So they're at the farmhouse or they're at the Whitehall or whatever, and the assumption is, just through what Cruise does and what he's telling people, is that he's done this 150 times. We're just watching the latest.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Which you're right, is clever.
Well, no, because you've got the trope then. What I'm saying is they only showed the regeneration when it actually mattered, or as a joke. That's the only 2 times they ever showed it.
No.
Otherwise, they just sped on with the story.
But that's why I loved it so much. Was that they were prepared. I don't mind them.
Sci-fi story though. It's a proper.
Yeah.
A lot of people have dismissed it as like action Groundhog Day, and it's not that at all, really.
No, it's not at all. Because
also
one thing
the regeneration is explained. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's what's beautiful about it is
he doesn't have to get the girl. He doesn't have to save a life. He doesn't have to blah 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 blah. There's an actual biological explanation for it.
Right. Which is why they're under. That's the great thing about it, is that the explanation explains why they're in trouble as well. It's not just an explanation of what's going on. It's also why they're in the position they're in. Why the aliens are, wiping them out. There were lots of nice touches to it. What really happened in Verdun, what's really going on with the invasion, all those things.
You feel like what Quarry did, and the other screenwriters, is that they, John and I have talked a lot on the diner about like one draft screenplays where it's just they've rattled it off and gone, oh yeah, that'll do, and away you go. And then as an audience, you pick up on all the bits they just didn't go back and do a rewrite on. This felt like a movie that had been rewritten and then pared down and pared down and pared down, so that there was no fat.
And I think
and everything, like an Ouroboros, went back on itself, everything explained itself.
It was
really well done.
The only bits that missed out might have gotten you from one place to another, but I bet there's like 3 or 4 scenes that were filmed because they were written in the script, because they needed you to get from point M to point N, because that's about where it is in the script. But the director was gone, if we yank it out though, it keeps the pace up, and they'll just accept it, because we're just taking them from. Because what's so cool about it, when you think about it, is despite the fact that it's going round and round and round and round, it's always moving forward. You know what I mean? And you don't get that feeling of being stuck in one place.
Right.
And he doesn't have
There might have been one too many training montages with Blunt.
Well, no, because what was cool about that was that he was crap in most of it.
But that was cool about the whole movie.
Yeah.
They said he was crap.
Yeah. It was very, very good. I really enjoyed it.
Because even in the farmhouse sequence when he left Blunt behind, he didn't just like shoot the aliens and move on. He was like blooded and sweaty. He really had to beat the hell out of them. Like he wasn't like Arnie or something. He wasn't just like boom and they're gone. Like he was really having to fight with them. Even after he'd done this a million times, he was still having to just battle the hell out of them. I mean, there's not much I can say wrong about it, really. It was a tight, good script without too many holes, although I'm sure some internet nitpickers somewhere have found some, but I didn't notice any. Bill Paxton was amazing, Gleason was amazing, Cruise was amazing.
He was terrific.
Blunt had very little to do, really, with her character, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, she didn't have much to do, but she was convincing. Like, I believed her as strong. Yeah,
at least she was a strong woman.
Unapproachable and unknowable and all that, but without that being... I believe what she was selling, not what like the screenwriter was selling to us. Do you know what I mean?
Right, and although there was... What was also nice is although there was an underpinning of male and female tension, it was never a thing. It was never a subplot.
No, because what was nice about it was they were saying...
he just started to care for her.
He started to care for her the longer it went on. He
but she
started to know
couldn't
her more and
possibly
more.
care for him because she only ever met him each day.
Which is what was so cool.
And it wasn't like Groundhog Day where he could engineer the perfect day, save the guy, play the piano, do the thing, because there wasn't a perfect day. There was only ever chaos.
No. That was, and it was nice because he knew that too.
Right.
And it helped.
And you really felt the one regeneration where he left her behind. You really felt the loss and the weight.
Yeah,
of that
that's true.
on
That's
him.
yeah. And you on the movie as well. You felt like, wow, it's like it misses her. Like the somehow, I feel like he's less safe. Like he's less likely to succeed. He's more vulnerable, even.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was really well done, that part.
And again, when you saw at the very end, you wanted her to finally have remembered him.
Yeah.
So do you know what it was like? It was like the relationship in Brief Encounter. It's throughout the whole movie, but it can never be fully like realized or consummated, so that the whole thing has a sense of
sadness.
Yeah.
I want you to know there are spoilers. There are spoilers coming up. Yes, I want you to know there are spoilers. And there are spoilers coming up.
Like even the very end, although there's an upbeat to it, there's also
Like how's this gonna?
a slight melancholy to it. I mean, other than now he can sit it down, explain it all, and hopefully then over the course of the next few weeks build a rapport. But I mean,
It'll be difficult though. It won't ever be the same because
they won't have to go through the trials and tribulations together.
No. You'd have to put a spoiler alert before that.
Well, maybe.
I'd put a spoiler alert before that. And in which case, I would say, you know what else I liked about it? Before that, what we just talked about happened. Which is why I'd like to put a spoiler alert before it. Because genuinely, when he woke up on the helicopter, and he landed, I thought, shit, is he going to have to... I really thought, is it been for nothing? Is he going to have to do it all again?
Right.
I really thought, I never get, or hardly ever get fooled. And I really thought that's what they'd done.
Right.
The strength of the stuff that had come up
What's weird is the whole
had like spun him back further.
Right. And in a weird way, the whole movie is about him earning the uniform that they've deemed to give him.
Yeah, I mean, ish. And I see what you mean, but
I'm just saying you can read lots of different things. Thank you. You can read
I
lots
suppose
of kind of different
I
things.
suppose that is a function of when he gets off the helicopter in that uniform. He's not a fraud in any way. That is true.
But there was. You could as well, although it is. Look, I want to make it abundantly clear. It is just a funny wham bam sci-fi action movie.
As far as sci-fi action films go, and especially if most of the people that I know that like sci-fi like comedies too. Like they like funny, like Red Dwarf, or even things like.
Or the later Doctor Who's and all that.
Yeah, the later Doctor Who. Or even Star Trek has a sense of humour.
Oh yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? And
I'd pay good money for him to shut the hell up.
Right, and people like Han Solo because he's funny. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
People like that, Battlestar Galactica was great. Don't get me wrong, it was very Poe, but the great bits in Galactica, with the English Doctor going mad. Anyway. What I liked about it was funny, but it was exciting and it was cool and it was proper sci-fi, like you're saying. It hung together as a story. It might not have been saying anything great about the human condition, but I think it was saying something about
I'm saying you could
the adaptability of humanity should it ever become faced with a species that it's not that is stronger or bigger or has bigger ships or anything, but fights in another dimension using weaponry that we can't even understand or won't understand.
Right.
You know.
No, I mean that's
which is a good solid.
If there is a
sci-fi
weakness to it, it's the Australian Doctor who is Doctor Exposition. I mean, he just is Doctor Exposition. He shows up and he goes, "Oh, the big bad guy you've got to kill is this thing." How does he know? Which I know how it's explained how he knows, but even so. And then and I was developing a machine to kill the big bad. It's fine. You get through it, and there's explanations for it. But he is just Doctor Exposition.
That's true. He is a bit. No, he's more than Doctor Exposition. He might as well be Dr. McGuffin. He's the guy that goes, "Oh, the thing you need is."
Right.
It's like. I mean, I guess I understand it, but he would have to have an alpha to test it on. Which obviously he does. I guess, you know what, it's fine. There may well have been a scene. If they'd stuck, here's the thing, right? And this is what I admire about it. If they filmed a scene with him, with a captured alpha, and there's a 15-20 second montage of him fucking around with the alpha and the thing and the radio waves and looking at his screen and stroking his beard and wiping his glasses and then going, aha, we'd have been fine. They would have been, that's fine, I buy it. He's a scientist, he's in a room with the alpha. They've obviously been there for a while because they're in Europe, regrouping, whatever. That's totally cool. And clearly Emily Blunt comes back and, talks to him and seeks him out and explains her experiences, and
it was fine because they stated in that early scene the modus operandi of the aliens is this, and that never changed. It wasn't like in the third act they went, oh, and by the way, the aliens also do this with bunny rabbits.
They set up the world and then they stuck to the rules.
That's what I'm saying.
And see, all good sci-fi does that, especially pulpy sci-fi. You set up your world, and as we go. The thing I can't stand is that's you're creating a whole new world, and that's good. What I like is when they take an established thing, Night Watch was a good movie. I loved Night Watch and Day Watch. They were terrific movies.
They're strangling an otter. Or maybe murdering a penguin.
But in the book, it's they're vampires. But these vampires, there's a special place called the fucking... I can't remember where it is.
Right.
It's another realm that they go to, and it's underneath our realm. And here, these are the rules. And then the whole, all the stakes in the final fights and all that are all dependent on these rules that have been created about this. And you go, there's nothing going on there. Whereas in Edge of Tomorrow, like you're saying, they set up the world, and the stakes are, well, this is the thing, and you have to kill it,
right,
or else this is never going to stop. And its defences are powerful, no question. And however they've evolved them, it makes sense.
But we can also use its defences against it.
Right, but they say if you kill it, you'll be fine, and it doesn't,
Which, by the way, the other thing is that trope about like kill the queen and the others all like kind of go away. Which, judging by what Brendan Gleeson said at the end, the others hadn't gone away. They just were at that point weakened because they didn't have control anymore.
No, he said they don't have a capacity to fight, which suggests that. I mean, they looked at the end as if they were kaput. Like, they didn't look alive. But if they were alive, they were very weak.
Right.
But the idea was, supposedly, like, they talked about it as one organism, didn't they? That's what they said.
Right, which is, that's a trope we've heard a million times.
Right. But that's how you need that, because the stakes are so high.
I'm just saying
he has to do so much.
I'm just saying that if anyone's going to criticize this movie, and I'm trying to jump ahead of like any internet criticism it might get, is it's going to be criticized for, okay, they've stolen that trope from this previous thing, like the Invasion of the Body Snatchers type thing, or they've stolen this bit from Groundhog Day, or they've stolen whatever. Like, but I'm here to say that yes, there are familiar tropes in it, and yes, there is Dr. Exposition, but it is done in such a classy way. It's made very well by Doug Liman. Yeah. It's acted superbly well, and it is written very tightly by the screenwriters, and has clearly been rewritten, which is the opposite. It really is. You can tell the difference between a movie that has been written once, maybe twice, and a movie that's been written
polished
more times. Now, a lot of people might look at the fact that there were 3 writers, 4 writers, and scoff at that.
No, I would say it looks to me like an original script by
a couple of people,
2 guys, because they were both called Butterworth.
Right.
And then and that's the script that would have gotten bought, and then Cruise and Lyman would have given it to McQuarrie to punch up. I suspect that a lot of well, I mean, who knows what he did to it actually, but he would have punched it up, I think. How much change it would have gone through, I don't know.
A lot of the jokes, just based on his Usual Suspect script, a lot of the jokes felt like his.
I would say, having seen the difference between the Usual Suspect and his Usual Suspect script, I'd say it's probably not.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the jokes in Usual Suspect.
Kevin Pollak?
Well, no, by the cast, yeah.
Right, okay, sorry. No, I'm just saying, I thought it's just an I tell you what it is, and I was saying this the other day to someone. There are so few people these days who are not making something based on a popular book franchise, making something based on a popular comic book franchise, making something based on a true story, or remaking horror, or doing demon possession movies till they're fucking, ad nauseum, whatever. There are so few people churning out, and use this in inverted commas because obviously I'm aware there is nothing original under the sun anymore, but original movies. There is very few people doing it. And interestingly enough, a lot of the people who are doing it, Schwarzenegger with The Last Stand, Stallone with the first, not so much with the first because that was a success, but Stallone with his recent stuff, Cruise with this, Oblivion and so on, is they're not being hugely successful.
I think Oblivion did okay, didn't it?
They're all doing okay. Last Stand and Bullet to the Head didn't do okay at all, but if we just look at Cruise for the moment, he's doing okay, but his openings outside of the Mission Impossible franchise are lesser and lesser and lesser each year. Because he's been doing one Mission Impossible, one original movie, one Mission Impossible, one original movie for like the last 5-6 years.
The 3 was good.
And he did some cameos he did cameo in Rock of Ages and he did a cameo in Tropic Thunder, but in terms of like movies he is headlining, You've got outside of the Mission Impossible franchise, there's been like Jack Reacher, there's been Oblivion, there's been this. What was before Jack Reacher? I don't know, but he's been doing like 2 movies a year, one of which is Mission Impossible and one of which is
Well, I'm all. I mean,
I'm saying what's interesting about it is there's so few people doing that now. You could say maybe Damon is another one who's kind of, but even his day of like being a leading man seems to be kind of over. I mean, Elysium was the last thing he did, and that was not successful.
That wasn't his fault. I think a lot of people were disappointed with how. I mean, I didn't even see it, but I remember I've never gone from. Like Elysium had an anti-trailer, as far as I'm concerned, because I was so excited about that movie, and I really liked the sound of the plot. And then I saw the trailer. I was like, oh, it's going to be that thing where the final climax is going to be like the climax of Iron Man, or
right,
where it's like 2 guys in suits like shoot each other.
It wasn't, but well, it was part of it. But the problem with Elysium was that the action was directed in the worst possible way. That was the real problem with Elysium. Everything else in Elysium, and also I think John pointed out in Elysium that at a certain point his character disappears. Like up in the first half of the movie, he is this kind of rather charming character where he's so at this point beaten down by authority, he's just kind of nonchalant and snarky to it all the time. But once he has to kind of like step up and be the hero thing, like all the writing and everything is out of the window. Whereas the best thing about District 9 is that even when he's like turning into an alien and trying to pilot the ship and everything, he's still that weaselly guy that he was all along. There's no point where Sharlto Copley in like District 9 suddenly goes dun, da, da, and becomes a superhero. He's always a guy in conflict, trying to like deal with whatever the hell is going on. The only switch that happens in his character is he goes from being like a braggart to being scared and no one helping him. But that's a perfectly normal transition if you were suddenly being taken over by like alien DNA. But District 9 was clearly a flash in the pan because Elysium was terrible.
I have a feeling that the director, what's his name, Neil Blomkamp, is a lot like Richard Kelly in that when he doesn't have a lot of money and he's not allowed to do everything that he really wants to do, the things he does with what he's got are really imaginative and very cool, and it's all about like character and suggestions and like just like things going on beneath the surface, and it's interesting. But when he's allowed to do whatever he wants, then he forgets of that and he concentrates on how things look. In Edge of Tomorrow, what's going on is that actually it's about the transformation of a smarmy, self-involved coward into a hero, and it's a comedy along the way, and
which makes it sound like Groundhog Day.
Right. Well, I guess no, it's not really, because it's not.
It does make it sound like Groundhog Day.
It does make it sound like Groundhog Day.
But the difference being is in Groundhog Day, the thing that lets Groundhog Day down, and this was never in the original script of Groundhog Day, it's only what happened when Groundhog Day got retrofitted as a romantic comedy, is that the ultimate goal is that he nails Andy McDowell. And you're like, really? That stops an eternal life, or a life of eternal torment is having sex with someone bland? Like,
I think marrying Andy McDowell would be a whole new type of Groundhog Day.
That's what I'm saying.
Going, oh my God,
I'm with Andy
am I
McDowell.
still married
She's
to Andy
wearing a
McDowell?
floral waistcoat over the top of a roll neck, and I want to punch her in the face. Yeah.
No, that would be a whole new. No,
and also the fact that Andy McDowell's character is considered the perfect human being, like she's.
Yeah, well, that's.
But she's not. She's pretentious and homely and.
No, agreed. But just what I'm saying.
He doesn't have to boff Emily Blunt to win the day. Is what I'm saying.
No, good point. No, good point. I guess what I mean is that it's that little unexpected thing that happens in a movie where you realise that you really love it. Or something
actually, that was brought up in Edge of Tomorrow.
What?
Because he said, have you tried...
Oh yeah, that was a good joke, right?
Yeah.
Because she was like, yes,
But what I like about it is within the script, without it being nudge, nudge, wink, wink, within the script there's a couple of scenes that preempt where the audience's brain is going to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I can imagine someone going to see Edge of Tomorrow and not buying it, maybe not like a cruise. They don't like cruise, whatever, and everything then to them becomes ridiculous or whatever. And it's just those moments in movies where, for whatever reason, like in Inception, right, when it was about 20 minutes in, I was thinking, do I like this, or is this, awful? Is this pretentious? And then it reminded me somehow, in the back of my head, of old 70s science fiction short stories that I used to read. Like, on the way to work, I would read short stories because I would be able to finish them before I got to work. And I would read a lot of the sci-fi ones. And it was just, I realised it was just like, and it wasn't trying to be serious about, the human subconscious, or even being a particularly accurate representation of dreams. And I know people that normally love Nolan stuff hate Inception because it's got nothing to do with dreams or how dreams work, and that disappointed them because they wanted Nolan to make a movie about what it was really like to be in a dream. But when I realised what it reminded me of was those science fiction short stories, I started to really enjoy it as this overblown, like, fantasy heist story that was science fiction, so you can get away with quite a lot of nonsense in sci-fi. As long as you, just like Edge of Tomorrow, as long as you keep it moving and everything moves forward, no one sits around for too long going, oh, life, what does it mean? Then, and it's just like, oh my god, that building's turned upside down, we better get out of here. I can get on board with that movie, but I could just as easily have been turned off it. Whatever it is about that thing that clicks in your head that makes you go, alright, I'm on board, I'm with you, and what makes you go, this is shash. I don't know what it is, but unlike some movies, even movies I've enjoyed, I've gone, but that one I was like, this can keep going. I didn't feel like it dragged at any point. We can both, Edge of Tomorrow's brought us together in an appreciation of a really good movie.
Two things surprised me. The comedy surprised me,
yes,
and Gleason being in it surprised me.
Yeah.
Neither thing was revealed in the trailer.
See, I tell you what surprised me is I've always thought of Paxton as a bit one note and without all that much going on. Even though I enjoy his notes when he pops up in his little cameos in movies, I've always thought of him as a bit one note, not all that interesting. But he was really good at this. Like, he was doing things that I hadn't seen him do before, and he was doing them really well.
It's interesting what happens when you give an actor a funny little mustache and like a shaved head, and put a bit of years on him.
Don't know. What was the thing about his?
There was something about Kentucky when he was saying he comes from Cranberry, New Jersey, and he says, "Oh, make a lot of cranberries there, boy." Or something. He says, "Oh yeah, the best cranberries in the state."
He goes, "No, they don't make tomatoes. Why do they call it cranberry then?"
No.
Yeah. And why do they call it cranberry then? And he says, oh, I don't know, why do they call it science? He goes, don't know, never asked. So
he goes,
care.
Never asked, don't give a shit.
No, never asked, don't care. That was it. So that was nice. But he's great in it. Cruise is great. They're all great. It's a great, funny, exciting movie, and it's got a lot more. It's a lot grimier and a lot more original things going on in it than Oblivion. But what's similar to Oblivion is I felt like I believed in the world. I felt like I was in a safe pair of hands. I really enjoyed it, and it was a good, solid science fiction film that Cruise carried easily enough, which is not always the easy thing to do. Will Smith wanted to carry science fiction films, and he still hasn't done it yet.
Will Smith has become his own worst enemy.
Yeah, clearly.
Because everyone was like, Emmerich was like, oh, do you want to do Independence Day 2? And he's like, no, I don't want to do Independence Day 2. And I was like, yeah, why would you want to hit?
Why wouldn't you want to make a film with Emmerich all the time? Always make films with Emmerich.
Yeah.
They're always really good. I haven't seen the Shakespeare one, but I'm all up for anything Emmerich. They were very Emmerich. Edge of Tomorrow was Emmerich. It was the same really nice action with a nice throw in some nice character comedy, keep the pace up, don't let anybody snooze, and get to where you need to get
to.
But
my thing is that there aren't many original, again, inverted commas, but original solo movies coming out of late, and Cruise is doing some of the best ones.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because even Clooney, who I used to think was solid, really put a foot wrong with Monuments Men.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Monuments Men should have been a Seawolves type tale of daring do, and it wasn't. It was long and ponderous.
The problem was it was a very good documentary, and I could see how it got his blood up and excited for the reasons because he wanted to make the movie you're talking about. But the problem is the stakes were never high enough. The stakes were never high enough. They were only ever trying to rescue paintings, and they kept talking. It reminded me so much of Diary of the Dead, when all they did was talk constantly about. Can you turn the camera? Okay, we get it. Can you stop talking about the camera and just make a fucking movie? It's like Monuments Man. Stop talking about how this isn't worthwhile. Stop trying to can we just assume that I've paid my money, I'm watching the movie, so obviously I think it's worthwhile. Just tell the bloody story.
Right.
Stop being insecure about whether you should be doing it.
Yeah, it's like in Argo, they didn't... There's that bit at the beginning where they go back and forth, should we save these guys, are they worth saving, blah, 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 blah. But once they've said, no, we're saving them and this is the mission then
they're
played
on.
out. There wasn't a point then when they were...
Yeah, they weren't going, ooh, yeah. Anyway, we should... But
Sure.
I enjoyed it very much. Thank you very much for having me on the diner again.
Thank you very much for being on the
I
diner.
thought Edge of Tomorrow was terrific.
And with that, let us end the show. Thank you, sir. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me, man.
You know what I would really like in my life, Jeff? What's that thing? I'd like some Cockney Collins. Hey, we were lonely and you needed a friend, and he was there at the right time with the right smile, or just a shoulder laid on. Someone to tell you it'll all work out alright. But don't let him steal your heart away. I said, nah, let him steal your strawberry tart away, dear. I said, don't let him steal your heart away. No, don't let him steal your strawberry tart away, love. Well, you can look at him the way you did me, but he probably doesn't have as big a dome then. And hold him closer, you're never gonna let him go. But any fool can see you're fooling yourself, woman, but you ain't fooling me. So don't let him steal your strawberry tart away. Now don't let him steal your strawberry tart away. And don't pack my suitcase, I'll be back like Arnie. And don't take my pictures off of your wall. You bloody hear me, woman. Don't let him change a thing, 'cause I'll be back. Just tell him to pack his things and get out of your life. Just give me one more chance, woman, I'll show you I'm right. You bloody know I'm right, 'cause I've been thinking and I know it was me. Leaving you lonely but hoping you could be strong. Now could you look at me straight, tell me what else can I do? But say I was wrong. Oh, but don't let him steal your strawberry tart away. No, don't let him steal your strawberry tart away. Well, he's gonna try, he's gonna make it work for you. Make you think your whole life's been leading to this. Whatever you do, think about my big dome face and don't be fooled by his kiss. Oh, and don't let him steal your strawberry tart away. I said, now please don't let him steal your strawberry tart away. I said, and don't pack my suitcase, lady, 'cause I'll be back. And don't take any of my bloody Can't you hear me, woman? Don't let him change a thing, 'cause I'll be back. Just tell him to pack his things and get out of your life. Get out of it. And just give me one more chance, I will show you I'm right. I'm bloody right, woman. Oi, well, you were lonely and you needed a friend. And he was bloody there, wasn't he? At the right time with the right smile. He's just a shoulder to lean on. Someone would say, don't worry, it'll all be alright. But he's no good for you. He's no good for you, Vera. He'll make you think your whole life's been leading to this. Oh, and whatever you do, think about my big dumb face. Oh, and don't be fooled by his kiss. I said, don't let him steal your away. He's gonna steal it. He's gonna steal away with it. Like the show? Well, you can find our complete podcast archive over at amdpodcast.blogspot.com or aftermoviediner.com. You can send us an email at aftermoviediner@gmail.com, tweet us at aftermoviediner, or follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/aftermoviediner. Or why not be a part of the show and leave us a voicemail over at speakpipe.com/aftermoviediner. You can also support the show a number of ways: by spreading the word to family, friends and co-workers, by writing us a review over at iTunes or TalkShoe, by purchasing some excellent diner merchandise over at cafepress.com/aftermoviediner, by donating on our website, by advertising with our website, or maybe you're a regular Amazon user. If so, then before you make a purchase, go to amdpodcast.blogspot.com, aftermoviediner.blogspot.com, or aftermoviediner.com and click through the Amazon banner ads. It costs you nothing extra, but they throw us a few coins for the trouble. Or, like the movies we cover, then buy them over at our personal Amazon store, also on amdpodcast.blogspot.com. Really, thanks everybody for everything you continue to do, and please keep listening.
There are men. And then there are second unit podcast men. The podcast you've just been listening to is part of the Second Unit Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at 2upn.blogspot.com or on Facebook under the Second Unit Podcast Network. Our fantastic list of shows include Drunk on VHS, We Came from the Basement, No Budget Nightmares, The After Movie Diner, Dr. Action and the Kick-Ass Kid, and Bloodbaths and Boomsticks. Take one podcast into the shower. Don't be a blithering idiot, Alan. We can give you the multiple podcast cleansing system all in one place that your hair deserves. Our programming is available across all platforms, from iTunes to Podomatic, TalkShoe to Stitcher, so you have absolutely no excuse. Listen today, and a free naked person of your choice will be shipped from Thailand to your door in a matter of weeks. The Second Unit Podcast Network, bringing you the action and leaving the boring stuff to the other guys. Bloody hell, who does a girl have to blow around here to get a decent beverage?